My name is Natalie, and the first time I truly realized I didn't belong in my own family anymore was when they planned Christmas without me. I wasn't uninvited. I was never invited to begin with. No phone call, no text, not even a group email with my name accidentally left off. Just silence. I found out through a forwarded newsletter. Some distant cousin's family update complete with smiling photos of pine trees, matching flannel pajamas, and gingerbread houses lined in royal icing. They were calling it the Big Family Christmas. A Mitchell tradition reunited. Reunited. Funny word, that one. I stared at the email on my laptop screen, half wondering if it was a mistake. Maybe someone had forgotten I moved back home. Maybe it was all just a miscommunication. Maybe I wasn't supposed to see it. But when I called Rachel, my older sister, the family organizer, the rational one, she picked up on the second ring and said flatly, "Nat, I was going to call you." Not, "We wanted you there." Not, "It was a mistake." Just that hollow delay of someone who already knows the damage is done and is too tired to fake surprise. That's when it hit me. They'd left me out on purpose. I'm not dramatic. At least that's what I've told myself over the years. I don't throw scenes or demand apologies. I let things slide. I forgive without being asked. But this was different. I'd spent years being the one who held space, the one who showed up, the one who stayed behind while everyone else went off chasing degrees, careers, chaos. And now, after everything, after all the meals I cooked at the airport pickups, the late-night phone calls they forgot to return, they couldn't even give me a seat at the holiday table. I walked downstairs into the living room where the tree stood half-decorated. Lights twinkled in slow blinks. The ornaments were still boxed. I'd been waiting to do it with them, Vanessa and Trevor, my niece and her husband. They'd been staying with me since June, just until they figured things out. Well, it was December now, and things were far from figured out. The worst part, they were going to the Christmas gathering. I hadn't been invited, but they had. While living under my roof, I stood in the middle of my living room, the air suddenly too thick to breathe. I stared at the staircase, waited, listened for footsteps, heard none. So I walked into the guest room. The door was open. Vanessa's laptop was glowing on the bed, a Google Doc still open Mitchell family Christmas schedule. Final. Trevor's name was on it. So were my parents, my brother, my cousins. Not mine. Not anywhere. That was the moment I broke. Not loudly, not violently, just completely. The kind of break that doesn't leave bruises, only invisible cracks through everything you thought was solid. I closed the door behind me, walked to the kitchen, and sat at the table. I stared at my cold cup of tea from that morning. It was peppermint, cooling, calming. I needed the opposite. I needed fire. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel ashamed of that. I sent a message to Rachel. "So it's true. Everyone's invited, except me." She replied, "Natalie, it's not like that. You're always so tense during the holidays. We thought maybe you needed space." Space, I had given them space for years. I gave up vacations, loaned money. I didn't get back, hosted birthdays, and played mediator when people stopped speaking. And now, because I didn't fake enough smiles or agree with everything Diana said, I was being frozen out like some misbehaving child. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, remembering how Eleanor, our grandmother, used to say, "Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up when it matters." Eleanor was gone now, and the people who had shown up for me lately weren't blood. They were friends, co-workers, the neighbor who brought soup when I had the flu. They were the ones who remembered me, not out of obligation, out of care. That was the night I decided something. This house, my house, would no longer be a waiting room for people who treated me like furniture. I was done shrinking, done hosting without being seen. And if they wouldn't invite me to their table, then I'd build my own and lock the door behind me. It took me 3 whole days to say anything. 3 days of passing Vanessa in the hallway, of pretending to smile when Trevor asked me if I had almond milk, of listening to Christmas carols I didn't put on play from the Bluetooth speaker I had bought. They were still here. Living in my house, drinking my coffee, leaving dishes in the sink, using my Wi-Fi to RSVP to a party I wasn't invited to. I told myself I was imagining things, that maybe Rachel had overstepped, that anyone would knock on my door and say, this was all a mistake. But no one did. And on the third morning, I reached my limit. Vanessa was at the kitchen counter scrolling on her phone, nursing a half-eaten croissant. I stood there for a moment just watching her, the casualness of it all, the entitlement. She didn't even look up. "Good morning," she said between sips. "Are you going to the family Christmas?" The words dropped out of my mouth without warning. She blinked, then smiled. "Yeah, of course." Of course. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. "And you were going to tell me when I asked." Her smile faltered just a little. "I assumed you knew. I thought maybe Rachel had." "She didn't." I cut in. No one did. She looked away then, and that's when I saw it, not guilt, not remorse. Just discomfort, like I'd made things awkward, as if I was the problem for bringing it up. I sat down across from her. 12 years ago, I said, when your mom left and you had nowhere to go. Who took you in?" She was quiet. "I did," I answered for her. "I emptied out my guest room. Bought you a mattress. Bought Trevor dinner because he didn't have a job. I let you stay when you said it would be for 3 months. That was almost 6 years ago." "Natalie." "No," I said, my voice sharper than I'd intended. I let it slide. "The missed rent, the late nights, the way you treat this house like it's a stopover instead of a home." She stared down at her plate. "And now," I continued, "you're going to a Christmas celebration with my family, in my grandmother's house, with my name not even on the list." "It wasn't my call," she muttered. "You didn't say no. I didn't think it would hurt you this much." That sentence did it. That sentence shattered whatever fragile shield I'd built to protect myself. "You didn't think I'd care," I said, voice low, "because I've always swallowed it. The dismissals, the slights, the way this family only includes me when they need a host, a driver, a buffer." She didn't reply, not even a sorry, not even a "you're right." I stood up and walked to the window. The backyard was covered in frost. The garden beds I'd tended all year were brittle now, waiting for spring. Like me. "I didn't turn around when I said I need you and Trevor out by the end of the month." She gasped. "What?" "You heard me? You're kicking us out over a party." I turned to face her, calm, cold. "No, I'm asking you to leave because you've forgotten whose home this is, and who made your presence here possible." "But we're family," she whispered. "No," I said. "We were. Now you're just tenants who've overstayed." That night I got a call from Rachel. I let it go to voicemail, then another from my mom, ignored. Then a group text from my father, Vanessa, and Diana, all saying variations of the same thing. "You're being dramatic. This isn't what Eleanor would have wanted. Can't you just be gracious like you always were?" That last one almost made me laugh. Gracious. As if grace means making yourself smaller so others can keep taking. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of peppermint tea again, cold, and opened a folder I hadn't touched in years. Inside were Eleanor's last letters. She'd written one to each of us before she died. Mine was longer than the others, more personal. I read her words out loud this time, "Natalie, you are not the placeholder. You are not the spare chair. You are the table. You are the foundation. And they know it. That's why they try to chip away at you. Don't let them." I cried then, not from sadness, from clarity. Because for the first time, I understood. I wasn't angry because they excluded me. I was angry because I let them do it over and over again, hoping they'd see me the way Eleanor did. They never would. So I'd stop waiting and start protecting what's mine. It was the peppermint bark that finally broke me. I'd gone out that afternoon to clear my head, drove across town to pick up groceries and some candles from that little shop Eleanor used to love. It felt good to breathe in cold December air, to be away from the tension that had been clinging to my walls like mildew. When I came home, I knew something was off. The carport was full 2 cars I didn't recognize. Music floated from the kitchen. Not the soft instrumental playlists I usually played, but upbeat jazz. I stepped inside and was hit by the unmistakable smell of gingerbread vanilla and betrayal. Vanessa stood in the kitchen surrounded by people. I recognized Trevor's sister and 2 of their old college friends. There were trays of cookies, bottles of wine, and a playlist labeled Mitchell Eve Vibes. It wasn't just a hangout, it was a full-on holiday party. And I wasn't invited to a party in my own house. Vanessa looked up as I entered. "Oh, you're back early," she said, like I'd walked in on a surprise brunch, not a secret celebration. I set the grocery bags down, too stunned to speak. "What is this?" I asked quietly. She blinked. "Just a few people over for a little pre-Christmas cheer." I looked around the room. Mistletoe, decorated cookies, matching mugs that said Mitchell Magic. I looked back at her. "You're throwing a Mitchell family party. Here." "In a way," she said, "it's not official. You didn't ask." "Well, we didn't think you'd mind." "You didn't think about me at all," I snapped. The room fell silent. Trevor appeared from the hallway holding a tray of hot cider. He froze when he saw me. "Natalie," he began, "we meant to tell you." "You're drinking my cider," I cut in, using my kitchen, playing hostess. "And not one of you thought I might have a problem with this Natalie." "It's not a big deal," Vanessa said. I laughed. Actually laughed. "It's not a big deal to throw a party for the very family that cut me out of the real one." Someone behind her whispered. "Is that her?" That did it. I walked straight to the speaker and turned off the music. "Party's over," I said. Vanessa scoffed. "You're being ridiculous." "No," I said. "I'm being clear." I spent the rest of that night in my room, door locked, phone silenced. They didn't knock, didn't apologize, just packed up slowly. I heard the front door open and close 3, maybe 4 times. Then the silence returned, and it was heavier than ever. The next morning I made a decision. Not just emotional, legal. I called my lawyer and had him draft a formal 30-day notice. I printed it on thick ivory paper and placed it in an envelope. By the time Vanessa came downstairs in her robe, it was already waiting for her on the kitchen table. She picked it up, opened it, and her face turned pale. "You're evicting us." "No," I said. "I'm setting boundaries." She tried to speak. I didn't let her. "For 6 years I've let you treat this place like your personal Airbnb. I've fed you, shielded you, forgiven your messes. But you crossed a line. Over one party," she said, exasperated. "Over years of pretending I don't matter." That night, I decorated the tree by myself. For the first time in years. No background noise, no audience. Just me, Eleanor's old ornaments, and the soft hum of wind outside. I hung the star at the top and whispered, "This one's for you, Gran." Because she would have seen it. She would have seen me. And she would have said, "It's about damn time." The first thing I did the next morning was change the locks. I didn't announce it. I didn't warn them. I just called a locksmith, paid in cash, and watched him unscrew the front plate like he was peeling off an old layer of skin. When he left, I stood at the door and pressed my palm against the cool metal handle. This was my home. I wasn't just reclaiming the space, I was reclaiming myself. Vanessa and Trevor were still upstairs pretending like nothing had happened. I heard the faint clink of a spoon against a mug, maybe cereal being poured. They probably assumed I'd cooled off. That I'd do what I always did, simmer stew, and then let it slide. But this time I wasn't simmering. I was solidifying. I printed 2 more copies of the eviction notice and slid one under each of their doors. Then I went back downstairs and made coffee. Strong black, no sugar. Just like Eleanor used to drink it when she had hard decisions to make. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping slowly, rereading the note I'd handwritten and taped to the fridge. This home is no longer a shared space. You have 28 days remaining to vacate. No visitors, no parties, no negotiations. If you need a list of local rentals, I'm happy to provide one. Natalie. I signed it like a landlord, like a woman who'd finally remembered her worth. Because that's exactly who I had become. That afternoon, the silence between us was deafening. Vanessa came down around lunch, barely looked at me. Trevor followed behind her like a guilty shadow. They didn't say a word. They ate quickly and vanished again upstairs like teenagers grounded for the first time in their lives. And I let them. No snide remarks, no second chances. just a calendar slowly counting down the days. The fallout came, of course. Texts from family, voicemails full of fake concern and thinly veiled scolding. You're taking things too far. They didn't mean any harm. It's Christmas, Natalie. Where's your heart? I didn't reply. Not to a single one. Because my heart, it was right here, beating stronger than it had in years. Not because I was being cruel, but because I was finally being clear. A few days later, I found Vanessa in the living room, arms crossed, staring at the empty space beneath the tree. "You've made your point," she said. I didn't respond. She gestured toward the star. "Are you really going to do Christmas alone?" "I'd rather do it alone," I said, "than with people who only show up to take." Her jaw tightened. "You're punishing us for something that wasn't even our call." "You didn't have to make the call," I said. "You just had to not participate." "But you RSVP'd. You brought gifts. You smiled in photos. And you never once asked why I wasn't there." That shut her up. For once, there was no rebuttal, no excuse, just the sound of her own silence finally echoing back at her. I started redecorating. Not the usual garlands and tinsel. I pulled out Eleanor's old nativity set, hung soft white lights instead of garish blinking ones, lit candles that smelled like fur and cinnamon and safety. Every choice was intentional. Every object meant something. I wanted this Christmas to feel different, because it was. One evening, as I was hanging a garland across the banister, Trevor passed by and stopped. "You know," he said awkwardly, "we didn't mean to make you feel invisible." I looked at him. "You didn't make me feel invisible," I said. "You just acted like I wasn't there." "There's a difference." He nodded. "We'll be out by the 1st. "Good. I hope you find what you're looking for." I didn't reply, because I already had. Later that night, I sat alone in the living room, tree-lit cocoa in hand, and realized something. I wasn't grieving the absence of family. I was grieving the version of myself who had tolerated being treated as optional. And she was finally gone. Christmas morning arrived with quiet snow and no apology. No family flooding the front hall. No last-minute gift wrapping. No buzzing phones or overly sweet eggnog. Just light. Cold, clean, still. And me. I woke up without dread for the first time in years. I brewed my coffee slowly, toasted a slice of rosemary bread, lit the fireplace Eleanor installed when I was 13. The flame flickered against the ornaments like it was dancing with memory. Then I pulled out the box labeled Christmas, Natalie's Way, and smiled. It was a joke at first, a cardboard container I labeled during a messy holiday 4 years ago when everyone was yelling and I needed an escape plan. Inside were things no one else ever cared about. The snowflake garland I made in college, the candle shaped like a book, a tin of antique brass bells, a hand-knit stocking with my name stitched crookedly by a woman I once loved and lost, all the pieces of my kind of celebration, the kind no one ever asked about, until now. I turned on my playlist jazz, slow folk covers, and a few tracks in French because Eleanor used to hum along like she knew every word. And I got to work. By noon, the house looked different, warmer, simpler, honest, no plastic Santas, no blinking LED snowflakes. Just candles, wood, quiet cheer, and one woman who was no longer pretending that family gatherings had to be loud to be meaningful. I'd set the table for 5, not for them. For us, the people who showed up. Rachel didn't come. Neither did Diana. Not my father or my mother, but Emma came. She brought butternut squash soup in a mason jar and a board game called Therapy that she claimed was banned from her last friend group. She kissed my cheek when she arrived and said, "Today I am fully yours." Marcus came too. He was my coworker once, but somehow over the last 2 years he'd become my go-to. "Are you okay, texter?" He brought scones and a playlist labeled Grieving but Festive. "Best I could do," he shrugged. "Perfect," I said. Then came Hannah and Sam, my neighbors from 2 doors down. They brought their dog Lemon, who had a candy cane bow and no sense of boundaries. The living room was filled within minutes, not with obligation, not with performance, but with laughter. Clinking mugs, heated debates over cranberry sauce versus chutney, the warmth of people who had nothing to gain from being there. And everything to give. Halfway through the afternoon, I stepped away. I needed a breath. I walked out to the porch, wrapped in Eleanor's old shawl. Snowflakes drifted across the hedges. The garden lay sleeping, but not dead. I thought of the Natalie I'd been this time last year, frantic, worried over extending, trying to make everyone comfortable while no one noticed I wasn't. And I whispered to the quiet, I see you now. I forgive you. But I'm not going back for you. When I returned inside, the group had started decorating cookies. Marcus was trying to draw a dragon on a gingerbread man. Emma handed me one shaped like a star and said, You know, this is how it should have always been. Right. I didn't answer. I just looked around, at the people, at the warmth, at the enoughness of it all. And I smiled, because she was right. Later, after everyone left and the house was humming with happy mess, I sat by the fireplace and opened Eleanor's last gift to me. It had been hidden in the back of her recipe box, addressed simply, for when you choose yourself. Inside was a small silver pendant. No diamonds, just engraved initials NMLS, my name. And below it, Live Steady, her favorite phrase. She'd said it to me every time the world tried to shake me. Now I said it back to her memory, I am. I finally am. January 2nd. They were gone. Vanessa and Trevor moved out 2 days before New Year's Eve. No drama, no shouting, no apology. Just cardboard boxes, muffled footsteps, and a final note scribbled on the back of an old receipt. Thanks for letting us stay. Sorry for everything. V. I found it wedged between 2 coffee mugs in the cabinet. I didn't cry. Didn't crumple it up. Didn't save it either. I just threw it out with the rest of the things they left behind. Old magazines, expired condiments, a pair of Trevor's socks. I swept the floors, wiped the counters, opened every window in the house, and for the first time in years, I breathed without waiting to be interrupted. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was sacred. The house hummed differently now, less like a burden, more like a companion. I walked from room to room, barefoot, feeling the heat rise gently from the wooden floors, the creak of Eleanor's staircase, the soft rustle of trees outside. No noise, no chaos, no performance, just peace. People kept asking if I was okay. Rachel sent a brief text. Heard they moved out. Hope you're feeling better. Let's catch up soon. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry, because I didn't owe anyone anything. Emma dropped by one evening with chamomile tea and new slippers. You look taller, she said, handing me the box. It's the lack of guilt, I told her. We laughed, and we meant it. That week I rearranged everything. Literally, moved the couch to face the window. Donated furniture I didn't love. Cleared out closets, junk drawers, and that weird corner cabinet no one ever opened. Each room I reclaimed felt like taking back a version of myself I'd lost between someone else's excuses. In the hallway, I found a photo of Eleanor and me from my college graduation. Her lipstick was smudged, and I was holding a bouquet of sunflowers. We were both laughing, full-body eyes crinkled kind of laughter. I framed it and hung it by the front door, not as decoration, as reminder. You are already enough. One night, I hosted my first dinner party, just me, Emma, Marcus, and Hannah. No RSVPs, no forced conversations. No cousins silently judging the wine I chose. We sat around a small wooden table eating soup and bread and laughing about childhood trauma like it was a board game we all agreed to play. And when Marcus raised his glass to toast, he didn't say, "To family." He said, "To the people who made it to the table by choice." That one stayed with me. Later, when the house was quiet again, I curled up on the armchair in Eleanor's old shawl and wrote in my journal, "They didn't break me. They revealed me. I was never too much, just surrounded by people who weren't enough for me. I slept better than I had in months, not because everything was fixed, but because I'd finally stopped asking for repair from people who didn't even notice the damage." The next morning, I opened the front door, took a deep breath of winter air, and whispered, "Welcome back, Natalie," because that's what it felt like, a return to stillness, to dignity, to myself. It was a Tuesday afternoon when he showed up. No call, no text, just a knock at the front door. I opened it slowly, half expecting a delivery or maybe Emma with forgotten Tupperware, but it wasn't either. It was my father, standing on the porch in his gray overcoat holding a paper bag and a face that looked older than I remembered. "Hey, Nat," he said. I blinked. "Dad, can I come in?" For a moment I considered saying no, just out of instinct. But something in his eyes, something fragile, stopped me, so I stepped aside. He walked in like a man unfamiliar with his surroundings even though he'd spent a decade of holidays here. His eyes scanned the room. "You changed things." "I had to." He nodded. "I brought cinnamon bread, from that bakery you used to like." I took the bag, set it on the counter, then crossed my arms. "So, why are you really here?" He took a breath, then sat down at the kitchen table without waiting to be offered. "I heard about what happened. Vanessa, the party, the eviction." I said nothing. He stared at his hands. They looked rougher now, older, like time had finally started telling the truth. "I want to say I'm sorry," he said. I raised an eyebrow. "For what exactly?" "For not standing up for you, for making you feel like the extra chair." His voice cracked slightly. That caught me off guard. I didn't realize how much we all leaned on you, until I saw how easy it was for us to lean away. I sat across from him, arms still crossed. He continued, "You were always the steady one, the one who made things happen. It was easy to forget that you also needed care." I swallowed hard. "That Christmas I asked. You knew I wasn't invited. I did. And you said nothing. I didn't know what to say." "That's the problem." He nodded. "I know." The silence stretched, but this time it didn't hurt. It breathed. I finally asked, "So, why now?" He looked up at me, eyes rimmed with regret. "Because I missed my daughter, and I'm tired of pretending you don't matter just because it was convenient." That was the first time I cried in front of him since Eleanor's funeral, and he didn't fix it, didn't tell me to calm down, didn't say, "You're overreacting. He just let me cry." And when I was done, he said the 4 words I didn't realize I'd been waiting years to hear. "You were always right." Before he left, he placed a small envelope on the table. "I found this in Eleanor's box," he said. "She meant for you to have it." I waited until he was gone to open it. Inside was a single piece of paper folded twice. Eleanor's handwriting crooked but elegant. "Forgive them when you're ready. Not because they earned it, but because you deserve the peace." That night, I read it again. Twice. And I let something shift in me, not a full release. Not blind forgiveness, but the beginning of softness. The kind that says, maybe some bridges aren't meant to be burned. Maybe they just need better railings. By spring, the house no longer felt like a place where things had been taken. It felt like a place I had reclaimed. The walls weren't quieter, they were calmer. The kitchen didn't echo, it exhaled. Even the garden, which had sat in hibernation for years, had started blooming with stubborn little crocuses that pushed through the earth like they had something to prove. So did I. Rachel never called. Diana sent a short email in March. "Hope, you're doing okay. Sorry things got messy." I didn't answer. Not because I was bitter, but because I didn't need their version of closure anymore. Some stories don't need sequels. They just need to end. Instead, I focused on what I could build. I started hosting monthly dinners, small ones. Just 6 chairs around a circular table. No hierarchy. No obligation. Just people who showed up and stayed kind. Emma always brought tea. Marcus brought playlists. Lemon the dog brought chaos. And I brought myself. All of me. Not just the good hostess version. We started a tradition. Every guest wrote 1 word on a paper leaf and pinned it to the wall in the hallway. By April, the wall was full of leaves. Enough, safe, free, loud, real. Mine said home. I didn't see Vanessa again. I heard she was pregnant, that she and Trevor were trying again in a new city. I felt nothing. Not anger, not pity, not joy, just release. And in that nothingness, I found a kind of peace that tasted like still water. One day I walked through the house and realized I hadn't flinched in weeks. Not when the phone rang, not when the mail came, not when I saw old photos. That's how healing happens, I think. Not as a grand announcement, but as a slow remembering of safety, of self, of enoughness. I framed Eleanor's last letter and hung it in the entryway, right above the shelf where I kept the house keys and loose change. Guests always stopped to read it. You are not hard to love, Natalie. You were just surrounded by people too afraid to do it properly. On the 1-year anniversary of the eviction, I threw a party, a small one. No theme, no pressure. Just the people who'd held me when I broke and laughed with me when I started dancing again. We lit candles. We made soup. We played a terrible trivia game and argued about fonts. And sometime around midnight, as I stood by the kitchen counter watching everyone laugh like the world was brand new, I whispered to myself, "This is it. This is the table. Not the one I was excluded from. The one I built." The next morning, I woke up to sunlight pouring in through the window. The house was a mess, plates and the sink pillows on the floor, half-melted candles still flickering. But it was the most beautiful mess I'd ever seen. And I realized I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I already chose myself. And that was the real beginning. If you found this video meaningful and inspiring, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to support the channel.